Welcome, dear wanderers of the macabre, to a journey that will chill your bones and ignite your imagination. In this premiere episode of our haunted storytelling series, we delve into the shadowy corners of the United States, unearthing tales from its most infamous haunted locations. From decrepit asylums to grand old hotels, from battle-scarred fields to eerie lighthouses, these places are more than just remnants of history. They are living, breathing enigmas that defy explanation. Each site carries whispers of tragedy, betrayal, and loss, where the past refuses to stay buried and the veil between worlds feels perilously thin. These stories are not mere urban legends or campfire fodder. They are deeply rooted in documented events, first-hand accounts, and centuries of lore. They speak to something primal within us, the fear of what lies beyond the known, the thrill of confronting the unknown, and the haunting beauty of unresolved mysteries. Whether you're a skeptic seeking rational explanations or a believer eager to embrace the supernatural, these tales will leave an indelible mark on your soul. So, gather close, light your lanterns, and steel your nerves. Together, we will step into the darkness, peeling back layers of history to uncover the chilling truths hidden within America's most haunted places. Prepare yourself for a voyage through time and terror, where every creaking floorboard, flickering light, and spectral whisper tells a story older than memory itself. Let us begin. The Stanley Hotel, a grand stage for ghostly drama nestled amidst the majestic peaks of Colorado's Rocky Mountains, the Stanley Hotel stands as both an architectural marvel and a bastion of paranormal activity. Built in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, this Georgian revival masterpiece was designed to be a retreat for the wealthy elite, offering sweeping views of Estes Park and luxurious accommodations fit for royalty. However, it wasn't long before the hotel earned its reputation as one of the most haunted places in the United States, a distinction immortalized further when Stephen King drew inspiration from it for his iconic novel The Shining. At the heart of the Stanley's ghostly legend is Room 217, a suite rumored to be haunted by the spirit of Elizabeth Wilson, a former housekeeper who worked at the hotel in the early 20th century. According to local lore, Elizabeth was injured during a gas explosion in the room, which left her with severe burns. Despite recovering physically, her presence is said to linger, manifesting in peculiar ways. Guests staying in room 217 often report their belongings being rearranged without explanation, clothes folded neatly, suitcases unpacked, or beds made with military precision. Some claim to hear soft humming or the sound of footsteps pacing the floor late at night, while others have even spotted Elizabeth herself, clad in a vintage maid's uniform, tidying up the room before vanishing into thin air. But Elizabeth isn't the only specter said to haunt the halls of the Stanley. The fourth floor, once reserved for servants' quarters, is now infamous for its unsettling energy. Visitors frequently describe feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them as they ascend the stairs, accompanied by sudden drops in temperature. Doors slam shut on their own, lights flicker erratically, and disembodied voices echo through the corridors, sometimes pleading for help and other times issuing cryptic warnings. One particularly spine-chilling account comes from a guest who swore he saw a man dressed in a tattered suit standing at the end of the hallway, staring blankly ahead. When approached, the figure dissolved into mist, leaving behind only a faint scent of cigar smoke. The hotel's ballroom, once the site of lavish galas and high society gatherings, has also become a hot spot for paranormal encounters. Musicians performing on stage have reported hearing discordant notes played on phantom instruments, disrupting their melodies mid-performance. On several occasions, attendees have claimed to see couples dancing gracefully across the floor, only to realize there was no music playing and no visible source of illumination casting their silhouettes. Even more unsettling are reports of children's laughter emanating from the empty ballroom, as though invisible youngsters are still enjoying the festivities of yesteryears. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the Stanley's hauntings is its connection to psychic phenomena. Over the years, numerous paranormal investigators have conducted studies within its walls, capturing compelling evidence of supernatural activity. Thermal imaging cameras have detected significant cold spots concentrated in areas like room 217 and the concert hall. Electronic voice phenomenon, EVP, Recordings reveal fragmented sentences spoken in tones too distorted to identify clearly but carrying unmistakable emotions: anger, sorrow, longing. During one live investigation broadcast online, viewers watching the feed spotted a translucent figure darting across the screen in real time, prompting widespread speculation about the nature of the entities haunting the Stanley. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Stanley Hotel remains a popular destination for tourists eager to immerse themselves in its storied past. For those brave enough to book a stay, the possibility of encountering Elizabeth Wilson or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its architectural splendor or the thrill of peeling back the layers of its enigmatic history, the Stanley promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. As we continue our exploration of America's most haunted places, few locations rival the sheer magnitude of spectral energy contained within the opulent yet ominous confines of the Stanley Hotel. Its blend of elegance and eeriness makes it a magnet for thrill-seekers and history buffs alike, inviting all who dare to cross its threshold to confront the ghosts of the past, and perhaps discover secrets best left undisturbed. The Myrtles Plantation, shadows of the antebellum South deep in the heart of Louisiana, where Spanish moss drapes languidly over ancient oak trees and the humid air carries the weight of centuries-old secrets, stands the Myrtles Plantation. This stately antebellum home, built in 1796, is widely regarded as one of the most haunted places in the United States. Its sprawling grounds and ornate architecture evoke images of Southern grandeur, but beneath its picturesque facade lies a dark tapestry woven with murder, betrayal, and vengeful spirits. The plantation's sinister reputation begins with Chloe, a slave whose tragic fate has become synonymous with the property's haunting legacy. According to legend, Chloe served as a housemaid under the ownership of Judge Clark Woodruff, a prominent lawyer and planter. Her life took a grim turn when she was caught eavesdropping on private conversations between Woodruff and his guests. As punishment, the judge ordered one of her ears to be cut off, a brutal act that left her permanently disfigured and filled with resentment. Consumed by bitterness, Chloe devised a sinister plan for revenge. In an effort to regain favor with the household, Chloe baked a cake laced with poison and served it during a family dinner. However, her scheme went horribly awry. Instead of targeting only the judge, the tainted dessert claimed the lives of two of Woodruff's young daughters, along with a visiting friend. Enraged by the deaths, the plantation staff turned against Chloe, hanging her from the property's oak tree. To this day, visitors claim to see her ghost wandering the grounds, clad in a green turban to conceal her missing ear. Known as the Lady in Green, Chloe's apparition is said to peer through windows, peer into rooms, and occasionally materialize beside unsuspecting guests. Chloe's spirit is far from the only entity believed to haunt the Myrtles. Another chilling tale revolves around William Drew Winter, a previous owner of the plantation, who met a violent end in 1871. Winter was shot on the front porch of the house by an unknown assailant and staggered inside, climbing the staircase before collapsing and dying on the 17th step. His agonizing final moments are said to replay themselves nightly, with guests reporting the sound of heavy footsteps ascending the stairs, followed by a blood-curdling scream and a thud as his body hits the wooden floor. Those brave enough to investigate often find themselves gripped by an overwhelming sense of dread near the staircase, unable to shake the feeling that they are being watched. The plantation's furniture and decor also play a role in its ghostly narrative. One particularly infamous piece is a mirror said to contain the trapped souls of those who perished on the property. Guests have reported seeing distorted reflections in its glass, including faces that do not belong to anyone present. Others recount inexplicable smudges and handprints appearing on the surface, despite thorough cleaning. Paranormal investigators conducting overnight stays have captured photographs showing shadowy figures standing behind unsuspecting subjects, their forms barely discernible yet undeniably present. Even the surrounding landscape seems imbued with supernatural energy. The very oak tree where Chloe was executed continues to cast a long, ominous shadow over the plantation. Visitors have described feeling an icy breeze pass through them as they approach the tree, accompanied by the faint rustling of chains and muffled sobs. Some claim to see a woman's silhouette hanging limply from its branches, swaying gently even when there is no wind. For those willing to confront the darkness head-on, the Myrtles Plantation offers guided ghost tours and overnight stays. Participants often recount bizarre experiences that defy logical explanation, doors opening and closing on their own, disembodied voices calling out names, and the sensation of unseen hands brushing against their skin. Many leave convinced that they've encountered something beyond the natural world, while others remain skeptical, attributing the phenomena to psychological suggestion or environmental factors. Regardless of one's beliefs, the Myrtles Plantation stands as a testament to the enduring power of history and memory. Its haunting stories serve as reminders of the injustices and tragedies endured by those who came before us, their pain etched into the fabric of the land itself. As we continue our journey through America's most haunted places, few sites embody the collision of beauty and horror quite like the Myrtles, where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion and the spirits of the departed linger restlessly, yearning for justice or vengeance. Eastern State Penitentiary, echoes of despair in the heart of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, looms a foreboding structure that has long been a beacon of dread and despair. Eastern State Penitentiary. Opened in 1829, this imposing fortress-like prison was once heralded as a groundbreaking experiment in penal reform, introducing the concept of solitary confinement as a means of rehabilitation. However, what began as an ambitious vision for moral redemption soon devolved into a crucible of suffering, madness, and death, earning the penitentiary a place among America's most haunted locations. The architecture of Eastern State Penitentiary itself exudes an aura of oppression. Its towering stone walls, crowned with battlements reminiscent of medieval castles, seem designed to intimidate rather than protect. Inside, narrow corridors twist like veins through the labyrinthine complex, leading to cramped cells where prisoners were isolated for 23 hours a day. Deprived of human contact, sunlight, and even knowledge of the outside world, many inmates succumb to mental breakdowns, their tormented cries echoing endlessly through the cold, damp halls. It is said that some never recovered, their fractured minds lingering behind even after their bodies were laid to rest. One of the most infamous chapters in the penitentiary's history involves inmate Al Capone, the notorious gangster who spent 8 months incarcerated there in 1929. Though Capone enjoyed relative luxury compared to his fellow prisoners, his cell reportedly featured fine furniture, Persian rugs, and oil paintings. He claimed to be haunted by the ghost of James Clark, a victim of the St. Valentine's Day massacre orchestrated by Capone's gang. According to legend, Clark's vengeful spirit visited Capone nightly, tormenting him with vivid visions of blood-soaked streets and anguished screams. Guards stationed outside Capone's cell swore they heard desperate pleas for mercy emanating from within, though no one dared enter to investigate. Other spectral residents of Eastern State are less famous, but equally chilling. Cell Block 12, in particular, is notorious for its intense paranormal activity. Visitors touring the decaying facility often report hearing disembodied voices whispering unintelligibly, as if the walls themselves are trying to communicate. Some describe feeling an overwhelming sense of dread wash over them upon entering certain areas, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. Cold spots appear suddenly, defying logic given the lack of ventilation or insulation. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly confronted. One especially harrowing account comes from a security guard who swore he saw a figure dragging chains down the corridor, only to vanish into thin air when approached. Paranormal investigators have flocked to Eastern State Penitentiary for decades, drawn by its reputation as a paranormal hotspot. Their findings paint a picture of a place teeming with restless energy. Thermal imaging cameras consistently detect anomalous cold patches throughout the building, particularly near the solitary confinement cells and the execution chamber. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters spike unpredictably, suggesting the presence of unexplained electrical disturbances. Perhaps most compelling are the EVP recordings captured during overnight sessions, which reveal faint voices speaking in fragmented sentences. Phrases like, "help me," and "get out," repeat ominously, interspersed with guttural growls and anguished wails. The penitentiary's annual Terror Behind the Walls event takes advantage of its haunted reputation, transforming the already eerie space into a full-blown haunted attraction each Halloween season. Actors portraying deranged inmates and vengeful spirits lurk around corners, startling unsuspecting guests. Yet, even seasoned participants admit that some scares feel too authentic to be staged. Stories abound of visitors fleeing the premises mid-tour, claiming to have felt icy fingers gripping their shoulders or seen shadowy figures lunging toward them. Staff members tasked with maintaining order recount strange occurrences of their own, tools moving inexplicably, lights flickering without cause, and the sensation of being followed by unseen presences. Today, Eastern State Penitentiary operates as a museum and historic site, welcoming thousands of curious visitors annually. While many come to learn about its role in shaping modern corrections systems, others seek to experience its darker side firsthand. Guided tours lead groups through the crumbling cellblocks, sharing tales of executions, escapes, and inexplicable phenomena. For those bold enough to embark on nighttime explorations, the promise of encountering one of the countless spirits said to haunt the penitentiary proves irresistible. Yet, as each new visitor steps across its threshold, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the shadows lurking within these walls, or will they become another chapter in the penitentiary's tragic tale? Few places encapsulate the intersection of history, horror, and the supernatural quite like Eastern State Penitentiary, where the echoes of despair reverberate through time, and the line between past and present blurs into oblivion. The Winchester Mystery House, a labyrinth of grief and superstition in the heart of San Jose, California, stands one of the most peculiar and enigmatic structures ever built. The Winchester Mystery House. Constructed by Sarah Winchester, the widow of firearms magnate William Wirt Winchester, this sprawling Victorian mansion is a monument to grief, superstition, and an unrelenting quest for redemption. With its labyrinthine layout, bizarre architectural features, and countless hidden passages, the house has become synonymous with mystery and the supernatural, drawing visitors from around the globe to unravel its secrets. Sarah Winchester inherited a vast fortune following the deaths of her husband and daughter, both of whom passed away under tragic circumstances. Consumed by guilt over the immense wealth amassed through the sale of rifles used in countless conflicts, including the Civil War, Sarah sought solace in spiritualism, a movement that gained popularity in the late 19th century. During a séance, she allegedly received guidance from a medium who claimed that the spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles were haunting her. To appease these vengeful entities and prevent further tragedy, Sarah was instructed to build a home for them, continuously expanding and altering its design to confuse malevolent spirits and keep them at bay. Construction on the Winchester Mystery House began in 1884 and continued nonstop for 38 years, until Sarah's death in 1922. What emerged was a bewildering maze of rooms, staircases, and hallways, many of which defy logic and practicality. The house boasts 160 rooms, including 40 bedrooms, multiple kitchens, and an elaborate network of secret passages. Windows are embedded in floors, doors open onto brick walls, and staircases lead to nowhere, creating an environment that feels deliberately disorienting. These eccentricities have fueled speculation that Sarah designed the house as a literal trap for restless spirits, using its chaotic architecture to confound and contain them. Among the most haunted areas of the mansion is the Seance Room, a small chamber where Sarah is said to have conducted nightly rituals to communicate with the dead. Visitors often report feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them as they enter, accompanied by sudden drops in temperature and the faint smell of candle wax. Some claim to hear whispers emanating from the walls, while others describe seeing shadowy figures hovering near the fireplace. One particularly chilling account comes from a tour guide who swore she saw Sarah herself sitting in a rocking chair, her translucent form illuminated by moonlight before vanishing without a trace. Another focal point of paranormal activity is the second-floor landing, where a large stained glass window depicts the number 13 prominently. This recurring motif appears throughout the house, in chandeliers, tiles, and even spider webs crafted from wrought iron, as a nod to Sarah's belief in its protective powers. Tourists walking past the window have reported feeling an inexplicable urge to flee, as though unseen hands were pushing them backward. Others claim to see faces peering out from the glass, their expressions twisted in anguish or fury. The house's basement, accessible via a narrow spiral staircase, is another hotspot for ghostly encounters. Once used as a storage area for construction materials, it now serves as a repository for discarded furniture and forgotten relics. Employees tasked with inventorying items stored there describe hearing loud banging noises, followed by the sensation of being watched. On several occasions, they've discovered objects moved inexplicably or arranged in patterns resembling symbols associated with spiritualism. A maintenance worker once swore he saw a man dressed in dusty overalls standing in the corner, holding a hammer. When addressed, the figure dissolved into mist, leaving behind only the faint scent of sawdust. Modern-day paranormal investigations have uncovered compelling evidence supporting the house's haunted reputation. Thermal cameras reveal significant cold spots concentrated in specific areas, such as the seance room and the main staircase. EMF detectors register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to Sarah herself. Audio recordings capture faint voices muttering indistinct phrases, interspersed with anguished cries and mechanical sounds resembling gunshots, a grim reminder of the violence tied to the Winchester legacy. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Winchester Mystery House remains a popular tourist destination, attracting curious travelers eager to explore its macabre charm. Owners make no secret of its supernatural history, instead embracing it as part of the property's unique appeal. For those brave enough to book a tour, the promise of encountering one of the countless spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the architectural oddities or the thrill of peeling back the layers of its enigmatic history, the Winchester Mystery House offers an unforgettable experience where the line between reality and illusion blurs, and the echoes of the past linger just beyond reach. As we continue our exploration of America's most haunted places, few locations rival the sheer eccentricity and spectral energy contained within the walls of this Victorian labyrinth. Its blend of grief, superstition, and architectural ingenuity makes it a magnet for thrill seekers and history buffs alike, inviting all who dare to cross its threshold to confront the ghosts of the past, and perhaps discover secrets best left undisturbed. The Lizzie Borden House, whispers of infamy in the quaint town of Fall River, Massachusetts, stands a modest yet infamous residence that has become synonymous with one of America's most grisly and debated murders. The Lizzie Borden House, located at 92 2nd Street, is forever etched into history due to the brutal axe killings of Andrew and Abby Borden, Lizzie's father and stepmother, in August 1892. Despite being acquitted of the crime, Lizzie Borden's name remains inseparable from the shocking events that unfolded within those walls, and the house itself has since transformed into a chilling hotspot for paranormal activity. The morning of August 4, 1892, began like any other in the Borden household. Andrew Borden, a wealthy banker and real estate investor, rose early to attend to business matters, while Abby Borden stayed behind to clean the home. By mid-morning, however, their lives, and the lives of everyone else in the house, were irrevocably altered. At approximately 11:15 a.m., Andrew was found dead on the couch in the downstairs sitting room, his skull brutally cleaved by multiple blows from an axe or hatchet. Upstairs, Abby's lifeless body lay sprawled across the guest bedroom floor, her head nearly severed from her torso. The sheer brutality of the murders sent shockwaves through Fall River and beyond, sparking frenzied speculation about who could commit such heinous acts. Lizzie Borden quickly became the prime suspect. Her strained relationship with her stepmother, coupled with rumors of financial disputes within the family, painted her as a woman with motive. Witnesses reported seeing Lizzie burning a dress shortly after the murders, ostensibly to destroy evidence. Yet, despite overwhelming circumstantial evidence pointing to her guilt, Lizzie maintained her innocence throughout the highly publicized trial. In June 1893, she was acquitted, leaving the case unsolved and fueling endless debates about her culpability. Today, the Lizzie Borden House operates as a bed and breakfast and museum, drawing visitors eager to immerse themselves in its dark history. For those brave enough to spend the night, the promise of encountering residual energy from the murders, or perhaps even Lizzie herself, adds an element of macabre allure. Guests staying in the John Vinicum room, where Andrew Borden was murdered, often report hearing faint knocking sounds and the sensation of being watched. Some claim to wake up to find their bedsheets soaked with sweat, as though reliving the panic of that fateful day. Others describe seeing shadowy figures lurking in corners or catching glimpses of a woman dressed in period clothing descending the staircase. The guest bedroom where Abby Borden met her demise is equally notorious for paranormal activity. Visitors frequently complain of feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them, accompanied by the acrid smell of blood lingering in the air. One particularly disturbing account comes from a couple who swore they saw Abby's ghost standing over them as they slept, her hollow eyes fixed on theirs before vanishing into thin air. Other guests recount hearing muffled screams emanating from the room, only to discover it empty upon investigation. Even the basement, where the murder weapon, a hatchet, is believed to have been disposed of, is said to harbor restless spirits. Employees tasked with cleaning the area describe hearing metallic clangs and scraping noises, as though someone were attempting to conceal something heavy beneath the dirt floor. On occasion, disembodied voices whisper cryptic phrases like, "Not me," or "Find her," adding to the eerie atmosphere. Paranormal investigators have conducted numerous expeditions within the house's walls, capturing compelling evidence of its supernatural inhabitants. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant cold spots concentrated in key locations, including the sitting room and the upstairs bedroom. EVP recordings capture faint voices muttering indistinct sentences, some pleading for help, others issuing threats in garbled tones. Perhaps the most unsettling discovery came during a live investigation broadcast online. Viewers watching the feed spotted a translucent figure darting across the screen in real time, prompting widespread speculation about the nature of the entities haunting the Lizzie Borden house. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the house remains a popular destination for history enthusiasts and thrill-seekers alike. Its rich tapestry of human drama, interwoven with tragedy and loss, creates an atmosphere unlike any other. For those brave enough to spend the night, the opportunity to confront the ghosts of Fall River's tumultuous past offers both terror and fascination. Yet, as each new visitor crosses its threshold, they must decide whether they are ready to face the echoes of the Borden murders and the restless spirits it left behind. Dear reader, as we bring this inaugural journey through America's most haunted places to a close, I hope you've felt the same spine-tingling allure that has drawn countless souls to these spectral sanctuaries. These stories are more than just campfire tales or urban legends. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the unrelenting passage of time. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a reminder that the past is never truly gone. It lingers, waiting for someone brave enough to listen. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of these haunted places yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, sleep in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these establishments offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond the veil. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint strains of music in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.